I'm Myke Shrews,
And I'm Tivis.
and you're listening to
The Munster Cast.
episode 57. Welcome back, everybody, to the Munster Cast, the podcast where we watch and talk about the Munsters and Munsters adjacent. I am, of course, your host, Myke Shrews, here with my co-host and friend Tivis. So, Tivis, please tell everybody out there in the Munster world, how are you doing today?
I'm no longer sick.
That's always a bonus. That's always a bonus, man. We're all sick, though. We're all dying. We're all humans, so not all of us are Munsters.
Even they
Sorry.
get sick.
Taking a drink break already. We just started. Real quick, everybody, the dirty business. You can find the Munster Cast on all social media platforms. That is Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at the Munster Cast. You can also find us on YouTube via youtube.com/@TheMunsterCast.
Oops. We were advertising the other show there for a second.
And you can check it out there. There you get to see our pretty ugly faces every Munster Monday, plus extra video content that we drop. Recently, I think a week or so ago now, we dropped a Simpsons Munsters mashup where it was like 11 times the Simpsons had mentioned the Munsters or something like that.
Oh, I watched that whole thing, man. That was awesome.
Yeah. And it's something real quick. It's not like the full episode or anything like that. So it's like 5 minutes, I think, long. So go check that out at youtube.com/@TheMunsterCast, guys. Definitely do that. And you can also find us or email us at themunstercast@outlook.com. There you can ask us any Munster related questions. Ask us if you can come on to the show if we have a spot available at the time that works out with you guys, or if you just want to tell us your Munster stories, why you love the Munsters, everything like that, and let us know if we can share your Munster story on the podcast, because we would love to. But you can also go to TheMunsterCast.com, and on the side, the right-hand side of the screen, there's a little mic icon that you can click and actually just leave a straight-up voicemail, basically, to the show. And then we can play those as well on the air so that your voice, your actual voice, is heard, not just what you say and us repeating it. So if you want to do that, definitely do that. Also on the MunsterCast.com, you can find all of our content, videos, audio, vlogs, or blogs, I should say, all that fun stuff, including going to themunstercast.com and hitting the merch button, which is themunstercast.com/@merch or /merch. Sorry. There you can find awesome shirts like the one I'm wearing today. So if you are watching the YouTube video, you can check out the Let's Back the Team of Munster and Dracula political shirt that we had made up about a year ago now, I think. This shirt is freaking awesome. I almost got some crap for wearing it to one of the voting things, I think at the end of last year or whatever it was.
I told you that was going to happen, man.
I told them, I was like, look at the shirt, step back, and chill out.
They take that job serious.
Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. And a lot of times it's like my grandma actually ran one of the booths too in her hometown. So this year. And I was like,
was she one of the ones that kicked you out?
No. Wrong state, wrong town. But yeah, so it's usually a lot older people there. I wish we could get some younger people to run some of those booths, but young people don't want to dedicate their time to doing anything like that.
That's a whole day of stuff.
Yeah, but you get to tell people what to do, man. You get power for one day.
You do that anyway.
You get power for one day over what people do and do not do. Oh, you messed up your ballot. You have to go back in there and redo the entire thing. Fuckers.
What kind
anyways,
of system do you have? Oh my god, ours is walk in, walk out.
Ours is, well, is yours like on the computer or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, ours isn't that. Not the one I go to. Not the closest one for me. It's you still have to fill in the ballot by hand.
Florida's fucked up.
Well, I think it might just also be certain locations too here. I know because mine's like right up the street where I can
Standardize
go.
it.
So, yeah, who knows? Anyways, I think that's all we have for shilling, man. Right? Oh, what's that one, Tivis?
We have a Patreon, of course. Basically just a tip jar. But if you do, contribute to that, you gain access to our Discord, where you will be able to watch along with us the Monsters Today, because again, we are still pursuing other avenues, but hitting a lot of roadblocks.
Yeah.
We're trying, we really are. But
Right now we can upload, if I upload them to YouTube, they are available only in like the UK.
yeah,
So
Canada doesn't even get them.
yeah, Canada doesn't even allow you to have it. Anyways.
Yeah. But also, more importantly to us in general, is just leave us a review, tell a friend, let us know how we're doing. What do you like? What do you not like? Stuff like that helps grow the show and grow us as, I almost called us content creators. What have we become?
Podcasters. The community.
I hate myself.
Those words that we never liked to say before. The community.
I hate myself.
Join us. Join us. Yes, just definitely leave us a review or anything like that on any of your podcast things, guys, and share us, all that fun stuff. It helps out us knowing that we're still making people entertained in some fashion, and that we're spreading the Munster love for sure on this one. So yeah, I was literally in the middle of writing what I was going to say for this episode's synopsis, because I 100% forgot again. So let's go off the cuff, shall we?
What's it called, Myke?
This week's episode is Herman the Astronaut, which aired November 26th, 1988, everybody. I was just a little kid then.
Oh, wait. We do have one more thing.
Oh, what's that? Oh, yes. Guys, awesome news. This year, the Munsters movie by Rob Zombie has been nominated for a Rondo Award. If a lot of people don't know what those are, they are a version of like a horror type themed award generally. And usually it has to do with a lot of classical aspects of horror and all that fun stuff. So they are allowing you, the people, because this is a people voted one, unlike the Oscars. You can go to rondoaward.com. That is RONDO award.com. And then you get to vote over there, and it's not just for the movie either. There's plenty of other stuff there. They have TV shows you can vote for, magazine covers, best
Blu-ray collections,
best collections, best
DVD extras, commentary,
restorations, even all that stuff. And you could just go to it's the Rondo Hat and Classic Horror Awards. In case you guys can't find the exact website, it's Rondo, RONDO, and then just type in award, and then you'll be able to find it right then and there. We also posted this on our Facebook page a couple weeks ago now, and on YouTube, Instagram and stuff like that. But
and it's on Rob Zombie's Instagram as well.
Yes,
Jeff Daniel Phillips and them have been sharing it around.
So definitely go over there and swing by and give the Munsters some love, guys, and all your other horror content that's over there that you want to vote for, because why not? Build these award shows, build these communities up. Let's go. These content creators.
You have until April 23rd, midnight, to get your emails in with your ballot. So, you got about a month.
Yeah.
Just over a month.
Just over a month. So definitely check that out, guys. Again, rondoaward.com to do that. All right.
Let's jump into this episode.
Dive on into this. Herman the Astronaut, which aired again November 26, 1988. On this episode, this week on The Munsters Today, Herman. Let's see here. How should I do this? Here we go. We'll come up with something on the spot. Like I said, Herman. After Herman passes the stress test, he gets a call from NASA or some company like that because we don't really know.
It's NASA.
Will
They say it.
Herman become an astronaut or will chaos just ensue? I think we should find out this week on the Munsters Today. That was a lame one, but I can't really say anything without giving the whole episode away.
Yeah.
It's all right. What you
So
got
this
for
one
me?
was written by Danny Morris, who only has 5 writing credits to his name.
Mm-hmm.
Danny did 1 episode of the 1980 Too Close for Comfort, 10 episodes of 1985 Safe at Home, 1 episode of 1985 Rocky Road. This is the only episode of Munsters Today, and a 2014 short called No Chance.
That's what she's got.
What's
Sorry.
that? You doing the Vince McMahon theme? Okay. This is directed by Doug Rogers, which this is the first of 3 episodes that will be directed by Doug. The first thing he's credited as directing was Today with Mrs. Roosevelt in 1950. He did 38 episodes of the 1979 Hello Larry, 11 episodes in 1982, 9 to 5, 15 to the 86 The New Gidget, Who Shrunk Saturday Morning, a special previewing of NBC's 1989 to 90 Saturday morning lineup, hosted by the Saved by the Bell members, was written by him as well. And the last thing he did was 14 episodes of the 1991 Hi Honey, I'm Home, a 1950s American sitcom. Here's a synopsis of it for you, Myke. A 1950s American sitcom family participates in the sitcom relocation program and are transported to the 1990s suburbia. So,
And what is this called?
Hi Honey, I'm Home.
That sounds so dope.
Yeah, that's a wild premise. We got 2 guests this week. The first one, big exciting one for me, but not as exciting as it could have been. We got Gordon Cooper as Gordon Cooper. He is an astronaut, not from Ohio, sadly.
Nope.
But he passed away at 77 in 2004. In 2000, he released a book called Leap of Faith, which talks about NASA's early days and his experience on the Mercury and Gemini missions, as well as his belief in aliens.
Yeah.
He's a claimed UFO hunter in 1951 while he was based in Germany. He was awarded the NASA Distinguished Service Medal in May of 1963 by JFK, so mere months before that tragedy. When asked about who the greatest fighter pilot he ever saw, his answer was always, "You're looking at him." He was the youngest member of the Mercury mission and was the first astronaut in a space flight of more than 24 hours. He was also the last to orbit the Earth solo. And the last thing I got here is he only acted in 5 shows, each only having 1 appearance. He was Colonel Leroy Gordon Cooper in 69, The Courtship of Eddie's Father. He played a character called Gerald in the 71 show Primus. He was Gordon Cooper in Chips, Munsters Today, and Rocket's Red Glare, a 2000 TV movie.
Okay.
And our second guest is...
You took all the information I knew about him and said it, though. So now I'm just like, all right, scrap this whole fucking page of notes.
Nancy Dussault, I think is how you pronounce her.
Yeah.
She is playing Dr. Sandra Brown. I'm going to cough here. Sorry about that. She has 35 projects that she's been a part of. Uh, her first was as Millie Halloway in the 1968 TV movie A Punt, a Pass, and a Prayer. She played Carol Davis in 48 episodes of the new Dick Van Dyke Show. Uh, she starred as Nancy Clancy in a 1932 TV movie called Nancy Clancy, I think. I didn't write it. Carol Cronpet in the 1979 movie The In-Laws. Muriel Rush in the 1980 TV show Too Close for Comfort, which she was in 129 episodes of that show.
Yeah, I think she was the whole
She's
run
the
of
main.
that. Yeah.
Carol Martin in the 1997 movie The Nurse, and many other one-off appearances.
Can I say I love the fact that she was in both Murder, She Wrote and Matlock.
Yes.
It's
And
freaking awesome.
she played various characters over 4 episodes of The Love Boat. She was in Full House, Mad About You, Lois and Clark, and Alias. And her last project was in 2016 called The Final Show. It was a short.
Okay.
So
she was in this movie in 1997 called The Nurse, and I think it's about a nurse that kills people.
Yes. Yeah, she played Carol Martin.
Yep, that's exactly what it's about. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like there's a picture of a nurse on the cover with a needle in her hand. She must be killing people. No way they could be helping people, right? All right.
In a movie?
All right, let's dive on into this episode unless you got more stuff, man.
Nope, that's all.
All right. So we open up with an awesome shot of the exterior of the house again. I think it's the same shot we keep getting though. I think they just keep recycling it. And then we go inside and Lily is feeding the raven.
I thought Herman was feeding the raven.
No, Herman walks in later. Lily feeds the raven some worms. Some gummy worms, it looks like that they just like browned up.
Oh yeah, okay. I typed that wrong. And we got Eddie and Grandpa on the couch reading a newspaper with this giant friggin' magnifying glass.
Yeah. So you get this like comedic like spot of Grandpa's like face like huge in it. Yeah.
Making fun of how our eyesight goes as we age. You know?
It would have been cool if they would have just done that effect and had him on a bat.
We walked into a CVS the other day. They have.
Was it a rabbi and a priest too?
No, we were looking for toothpaste and they were sold out at Kroger. So we went in the section with, they have the toothpaste over in like the medical area.
Mm-hmm.
They have these plastic magnifying sheets so that the old people can read.
Oh yeah, we have those.
That's new.
We have them here. We put them on like the things for. I don't even know what the hell we use them for. I think the kid had to have it for school or something like that to do like to show. I think for math class possibly. I don't even remember what the hell they used it for. But we have a bunch of them laying around the house now because they're like you said, like a big piece of sheet, just plastic. Yeah. Anyways,
like that's helpful, but I've never seen it before, so it made me chuckle.
Yeah. So then they're reading the newspaper and they're finding out that they're closing down the pet cemetery. And Spot does not like this at all. He is pissed. Yeah. And Eddie's just like
Spot, he finds his friends.
Yeah. Eddie's just like, well, I guess you're just gonna have to find a new place to dig up some new friends.
Yeah.
Oh, Then Herman comes on into the house. This is we don't get Marilyn in this episode at all.
No, Marilyn's. I have that multiple times in my notes as I was watching.
She's just like a throwaway character all the time for these shows, man. Like,
well, it might have been her week off. You never know.
Maybe. I do want to say before we keep going in this episode did remind me a lot more of the way the 60s show laid out an episode a lot. especially
did.
with only because we only in this one we only got there was literally the normal cast and then 2 extra characters, and
Mhm.
it just the way it laid out, I was like, oh, this is exactly like a 60s episode. I was like, did they like just have this episode laying around still from the 60s and shoot it? They're like, we don't have anything from Maryland except all these derogatory jokes about their looks, so we're gonna cut all of that and just keep this and go with it.
Maybe.
Anyways,
I mean, it's more far-fetched things have happened, so yeah. So Herman comes in and he's like stomping his feet like crazy, causing the house and everyone in it to shake.
yeah.
And Grandpa's like, "You give new word, or you give new meaning to the word ignorance." And Herman wants to know what the old meaning was. Grandpa explains that Herman is the only man he
Which
knows who can.
I'm going to start using that when people tell me that stuff. Like, you give a whole new meaning to idiot. I'm like, well, what's the old definition, bro? Like,
Uh, yeah, Herman is the only man he knows who adds up to less than the sum of his parts. Which I thought was a really good Frankenstein joke.
they kept doing these beats every time Grandpa would do a jab at Herman, the drum, the
Mhm.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, let's see. Then we get Grandpa laughing, which I think is the first that I've actually seen him burst out laughing in this show.
Okay.
Uh, Herman tells him that it's okay. He doesn't have to insult him anymore. He's done with his insurance physical, which my mind immediately went to George Lopez.
Yep.
Uh, Grandpa explains that part of the test was a stress test. Herman continues that when people say mean things to him, he gets stressed. Grandpa just says it was his pleasure.
And this is the way that they made sure that Herman would lower his stress levels by basically like Bruce Bannering it.
Yeah.
Like, just being
What's your
angry
secret?
all the time or stressed all the time.
So a normal person.
Right.
Lily asks how it went, and Herman says his blood pressure was lower than any of the bodies in the parlor. Eddie is very pleased with this. Herman is the calmest man in the world. Nothing but nothing can upset him. And then the phone rings, scaring him, and the Raven calls him a dummy. Uh,
It still didn't upset him though. It just startled him. There's a difference.
who's on the phone?
On the phone, you get this is Gordon Cooper, the real life astronaut. He
Can I
said
just say he's very still in his performance, but I didn't mind that.
yeah, he it definitely felt like he hadn't acted before, which unfortunately he had. So
Very
um
few times, though.
but again, like I said, like the way that
I,
he delivered it was kind of like how an actor would have delivered it in the 60s.
mhm.
Like their astronaut or their scientist or whatever that calls them up and be like, hey, you want to come down here and we're gonna kidnap grandpa and send him to space and all that stuff. Remember those episodes? Come on. Um
Yeah.
and
We
oh, go on.
I was gonna say, we loved Gordon Cooper in High Noon.
And he's like, oh no, I'm no, he didn't say Gordon Cooper, did he? I think Herman messed up the name.
Yeah,
And the Gordon Cooper's like, oh, I've never been to High Noon. He's like, oh, so what have you been in? And that's when he started naming off like his missions
Mercury
and
9
stuff.
and Gemini
Yeah,
5.
right. And then they offer Herman. They're like, well, your stress test was so low, like you did really great on your stress. We've never seen numbers like that, and your papers were sent over to us by your doctor. Which why are doctors doing that? Like doctor patient confidentiality, like, right? Like, what the hell, dude?
All of our data's for sale. Don't you know that?
But in the 80s, they had to actually do like it wasn't just an email. Um anyway.
Gordon's in charge of a special government program. And Herman's like, oh, goody, goody, goody. What channel is it on?
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's at this point that Gordon's gets fed up talking to him and hands the phone off.
Yeah. And then we get the secretary, or is it secretary or like assistant, or
This is Dr. Brown, a scientist.
is it supposed to be another doctor? I did not grab that at all.
They keep calling her Dr. Brown.
I know.
That was part of the joke.
I guess I saw a lady and I just went sexist with it, Tivis. Jeez.
Oh, yeah. She's like, hey, so this conversation is confidential. Are you alone? And Herman assures her that as head of the family, they respect his privacy, and he realizes they're all like gathered around him listening to the phone call.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, shoot. This is the first time I realized there's no Marilyn.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, are you really, really sure? And he gives Grandpa a look to back off because he came back up again. And she begins that he scored exceptionally well on that stress test. He thanks her and wants to know how she found out. He's like, oh, well, the insurance company called them. So it wasn't the doctor, it was the insurance company.
Even worse. Even worse.
Yeah. They have never seen anything like it. And Herman gives credit to Grandpa. She says, that's good, but can you come down to their, that's good. Yeah. Can you come down to the lab to discuss a very special project?
Well, what is it?
Yeah.
What is it? I don't know.
I can't tell you over the phone. The walls have ears.
We should transcribe all of these episodes so we could just like play them out.
I love the fact that he begins looking for ears on his wall too.
Yeah. Yeah, there's ears everywhere.
I only see paintings.
Oh, yeah. This is when like he gets really like secretive about everything, and then he's like, "Okay, I'll see you then," or whatever.
Yeah, they're sending a driver to pick him up tomorrow.
Yeah, and then he gets off the phone, and they're like, "So what?"
She goes, do you know about loose lips? And he sure does. And shakes his head. He's like, I'll have them tightened. Bye.
Yep.
It just hangs up on her.
And then his family's like, so what was it? Who was it? And he's like, wrong number.
Yeah.
I was like, dang.
Which, could be true with him. Someone could accidentally call their house, and I'm sure he would have a full conversation with them. No idea who they are, what they actually were wanting.
Yeah. I've tried it before when people misdial me. I'll be like, hey, do you want to talk? Let's talk.
Yeah.
They'll never call you back again. They'll make sure they block that number from their phone.
There's plenty of stories of an old person trying to call their grandchild and getting the number wrong and then getting a new pen pal for life.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
A little heartwarming story,
I think I made a friend like that. It wasn't through a phone call though. It was like through a instant message. They meant to message someone else back in the day, and then we became friends. It was like through like AOL chat room or some crap like that, like way back in the day.
Yeah, that was the old west of the internet. You didn't know whether you were getting a new friend or potentially someone about to go to jail. Yeah. So
it took you 5 hours to download one photo they were sending you slowly, and then someone calls you and it kicks you off the internet in the middle of the download, and you're like, "What the hell, man?" Sorry, we had dial-up. Do kids know what dial-up is anymore?
Do kids listen to our show?
I hope not, and so.
Yeah, so we're at NASA now. Dr. Brown gives a weekly world news magazine to Gordon, which claims that, I don't know if it actually was, it's something like it, claims that there's life on Venus. Yes. He jokes that they're 7 feet. Oh, go ahead.
Go on. No, go on.
Oh, they're 7 feet tall and green too. Then Herman walks in.
Yeah. Which is interesting because you gave the fact that he actually was like in search of UFO stuff and all that. So that's pretty cool that
Yeah.
they like kind of incorporated him like looking for it in the show.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. We have, again, if this follows the same continuity, we know Herman spoke to a Martian on accident, so they're out there.
Yeah.
Herman doesn't know that, but also Grandpa knows about life in the Andromeda galaxy.
Oops. I'm putting these in the wrong thing. Delete.
So
Delete.
the two of them do a quick game of rock, paper, scissors for who's going to talk to Herman first. Dr. Brown loses, and she explains that they're looking for a few good men. And Herman says,
Well,
well, that sums me up.
I did like that they did a nice freak out moment in this, as reminiscent to the 60s, but not to the point where they like ran through the walls to get away from him, which was cool.
Yeah, like in the pilot.
Yeah. Let me see here. This is when they tell him that he's going to be an astronaut,
Yeah,
correct?
a special
And
civilian astronaut
and
program.
and Herman goes into this song. I can't. I recognize the tone of the song, like the tune that
Mhm.
he's mimicking, but I can't place it. But he's just like in there, like I'm gonna be an astronaut. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be an astronaut.
And
I'm
the
just like,
whole time, she's like continuing to try and explain stuff to him.
yeah,
He does not care.
nope.
And tragedy strikes the building. He gives
Her
one last flourish on the dance moves, and everything sparks and explodes around. It was
is
a
that
cool effect, but you got to think about how much money he just killed.
yeah. Can we start saying that Herman's middle name is just tragedy? Herman Tragedy Munster.
It just makes me feel sad for him.
Herman Chaos Munster.
You got to think
HCM.
all the who knows what programs those computers were doing. How much what research was just lost because they didn't get it on a floppy disk yet.
Well, hopefully it's all the research that was spying on Venus. Because what the hell do we have the right to spying on another planet for? Get our own shit in order first, guys. Come on.
So we're back at home now where
And I
Eddie
love how
is
they say Venus because like in the 80s, there was a lot of movies and stuff in like the 60s and 50s and shit based on around Venus and all that. But I'm like, Venus? Like, why not Mars? Like,
well, it kind of gives credence to your thought that this might be a leftover script.
right. Yeah, guess so. All right.
So we're back at home and we get this cool scene of Eddie feeding Spot, which is one of the few times that anyone's actually interacted with Spot this show.
Yeah.
I really hope as we go into these later seasons, they got some kind of budget to give Spot more of a presence.
We'll see. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know.
I'm not getting my hopes up, but I hope.
I yeah, because we haven't really seen him outside of the stairwell in this
No,
show
he doesn't
yet.
even have an outline under the stairs anymore. He's just a shot of fire.
Fire. Yeah. And we don't. I mean, we're only 8 episodes into this series,
Yeah,
so
it did take Spot quite some time to show up in the original show too. We only
right.
remember we started with his shadows, the freaky fucking shadow creature.
Yeah, yeah. All right,
Yeah,
so we get back to the house. Herman's there, or Herman walks in with Eddie there.
yeah. Well, he rushes in like calling the entire family to the living room, but no one shows up. So he's
Tivis, they finally did it. They did the gag I wanted them to do.
Herman gets him stuck in the basement.
Where someone is stuck in that damn basement and they can't get out because there's weight on top of it. I was like, I wanted them to do this in the 60s, in one of the movies, anything, because it seems like this is something I would have done as a kid to my brothers if we had like a trap door like that in our floor. I'd have just put the couch over top of it and said, screw it, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, so Herman's standing on the trap door, and they're like knocking, like ah. So Herman gets away from it, so they can come up, and he talks to them. Then,
oh, yeah. So Herman's like, I have the most exciting news that I can't wait to tell them. But
what is it?
you have to guess.
I don't know. Where are you doing?
Grandpa gets like
Close.
really mad. He's probably still upset that he was just trapped in this laboratory.
Yeah.
He's like,
this dude. He showed me the one flaw for my room.
yeah, you're an idiot. And then he goes and sits down in his chair. Or was like, that's old news.
Yeah.
Guess the new news. He then informs them that he's going to be an astronaut. Eddie is pumped for this. Still no Marilyn in sight.
Nope.
Lily wants to know how he can be an astronaut. He doesn't know the first thing about space. Grandpa says that isn't true. His head is full of it. Herman agrees with him and then says when he goes past the moon, he will stop and pick up some green cheese. Eddie gets even more excited by this, and his voice cracks a little. I don't know if it was the actor or if they're trying to give some kind of puberty, like continue that arc with him.
I think it's the way that Jason talks in a lot of things. Honestly, I've heard that
it really cracks in this one.
Like I've heard him do that in other performances and other things, but again, like it might be a voice cracking thing because a lot of them were child acting things.
I mean, well, he is, around that. It might have just been a natural one too.
Yeah.
He says
it just works. It works.
Yeah, it's like you're going to the moon. Even better, Venice. And then he begins singing. Or no, he says Venus and begins singing because he's thinking of Venice. And Grandpa's like, "You're an idiot."
Just go into like the Amore song.
Yeah. Eddie lifts off a bunch of facts about Venus that I didn't bother writing down because you could just go to Wikipedia. Herman is going to burn to death, basically, is the reality of the situation. But Grandpa says it's full of beautiful women.
Lots of beautiful women. And then this is where Eddie, little pervert.
Lily. Oh,
Lily. Yeah, Lily is like, wait, beautiful women? What do you mean?
What? Yeah, I forgot about Eddie. Go ahead.
And then Eddie goes into it like, oh yeah, like I saw there's lots of women in leopard print things and Lily's just like
guy.
And one guy, and Lily's just like, where the hell did you learn this? Like, what the heck is? And he's like, oh yeah, I saw it in the movie.
He was trying to escape,
and
Why?
Grandpa was backing him up. Yeah, and he was like, and he was trying to escape, and Herman's like, I wonder why. And Grandpa's like,
maybe
he needed a break. So I was trying to research at the time period for this. What movie this could potentially be that Eddie was watching, because later on Eddie says sometimes they don't even have their clothes on. So I was like, what the hell? And we get an awesome line from Eddie's hinting at watching the nude chicks in this movie, and that's when Lily goes and says, that's it, the cable TV goes out tomorrow.
Yeah, we're canceling cable TV.
So I came up with a couple different ones. And I know I feel I've watched the one that he's talking about, the leopard print and stuff like that. I want to say it's even the one that Futurama has made, like the one that Futurama referenced with the snoo, but I couldn't find it. But what I did find was so we have the voyage to the planet of prehistoric women. This is clearly a redo cover that I'm showing on the video. It looks more like a comic book cover. Yeah. So this one here is Voyage to the Planet of Prehistoric Women, but these ones aren't wearing the leopard print, so they're wearing more seashells and stuff. But it was the closest one I could find to what Eddie was talking about. Then there was also Queen of Outer Space, which that one is a little closer because there's one guy, but it's also the girls wear like more 50s sci-fi clothing and stuff like that. These are all from Venus too. And then of course the more adult version of it, 2069 A Sex Odyssey, which I think I've heard of this in the past. I've never watched it. And then I read the synopsis, and it's like 5 sexy females from the planet Venus are sent to Earth to bring back sperm samples to their planet. In Bavaria, they use machines to extract the samples from resisting males, but soon later learn that sex is an easier way to get what they want.
Well,
And I
look
was
at that
like,
tagline.
wow. A space out climax, most exciting climaxes, yeah. So I was like, yeah, I don't think it was that one, but I swear if it was that one, they really need to cancel their cable.
Yeah.
Because that was from 1974, so that's more of I believe that's more of a
When did
sexploitation film.
HBO launch? Do you know?
I don't know. You're like thinking more Skinamax type stuff.
Yeah.
I want to say in the, let's see here, 1971, 1972.
Oof. Yeah. Okay.
1972.
So it's a
So they were out.
possibility.
But Showtime was probably more of a bigger thing at the time in the 80s.
Mm.
So I would say Showtime. And that was like, oh no, Showtime was after HBO. It launched in 76. Okay.
But
Anyways,
when
I want to say,
Myke,
lastly, I think Voyage to the Planet of the Prehistoric Women is probably the closest to what Eddie was talking about. I went
so
on a deep dive. I was like, Venus, women, man. I got a lot of stuff I didn't need, but I was really trying to figure it out.
so, the way I watched most of my HBO growing up before,
Mhm.
they came up with Max and stuff was
Mhm.
only my grandparents had it on my dad's side. And
Okay.
they loved it. They watched everything that was on the movies, like the TV shows. My grandpa loved that was his favorite, channel basically.
Right.
But a funny story my aunt told me after they passed away. She went on a vacation down south to go visit some relatives, and she called my grandma and goes, "You're never gonna believe it. They have HBO down here." And my grandma, not knowing what it is yet, goes, "Is it contagious?"
Nice.
Yeah.
Uh
Yeah, Lily's unsure about the Herman being around this Venusians, but maybe he'll learn Venusian Aikido like the doctor did. Uh, I had to put a Doctor Who reference. There's no way I couldn't. Herman says, I'm not gonna be alone. I'm going with Dr. Brown. And Lily's like, oh, okay. But she wants to know how long this is gonna take, and he's like, oh, it's only 547 days. And
yeah.
Grandma's like, that's a year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's going there. On the way back, it's all downhill.
There's no hills in space, Herman. There's no
No,
hills
there's not.
in space. It's just down. It's all a downward spiral.
Yeah.
This is when Eddie goes and tells him what he'll be missing.
Yeah. Well, we come back. This is the first time we've done this, I think, but we get a commercial. And then we come back to continue the very same conversation instead of starting a brand new scene.
Yeah.
Which, to
Interesting.
my knowledge, has not been done ever in the Munsters.
Yeah. I can't think of it. I can't think of when they would have continued a legit conversation without switching scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lily's extremely unhappy to hear it's going to be gone a year and a half, and Grandpa is struck by a sound effect idea that's only one way. He's actually going to be gone 3 years. And then he gets up and starts bolting around the room. Herman tells her that he will write every day. She says by the time they land and find a motel and unpack, but for some reason I didn't finish this one.
You didn't finish your note?
No, I just stopped with okay. Well, she just doesn't want him to stay away that long.
Yeah.
Lily's like, uh, this is, or Lily, this is for our country. This is bigger than you. This is bigger than me. And Grandpa's continuing to scurry around the background, by the way.
I don't understand how it's bigger that how it's for the country to go to Venus, anyways.
Advancement of science being the first, whatever. But Grandpa just stops at that and says, "Nothing is bigger than you." Yeah,
Oh,
it's just that we got to be the first so that we have that knowledge. I don't know.
you have the
Science is
power.
meant to be shared, but
Uh,
so
yeah.
Eddie is annoyed. He's like, "Yeah, this is where he's like, well, what are you looking for there?" Or no, Eddie is annoyed at Grandpa. This is the first time I've ever heard him like be nasty toward him. He's like, "What are you looking for?" And Grandpa's like, "I used to have this book. It was Venus on 5 kopecks a day. I tried looking up what a kopeck is, and the only thing I could find was a Russian coin, which is worth about 100 rubles."
Kopak or Kopecks?
Kopecks.
Kopecks. So there's Kopecks that's conduit. I know that, but that's spelled with a K. I don't know.
Yeah. So the Lily is still reeling from the 3 years aspect of it, and she reminds him that he's gonna miss the next 3 Halloweens. You know how you love to dress up scary. He's gonna miss their 276th, 77th, and 78th anniversaries. And Grandpa comments about how important those are as he rummages around the room now. They're barium, lithium, and linoleum, which, for those who don't know, barium is a soft silvery metal that rapidly tarnishes in air and reacts to water. It's most used as drilling fluids for oil and gas wells, but it also can be used in paint and glass making. Lithium may be well known for our phone and electronic car batteries now, but there is also a form of salt that is used to help that is used in bipolar and depression medicines. And linoleum,
Is it salt or
sometimes
like a saline?
it's a salt.
Okay.
Linoleum is a floor covering made from materials such as solidified linseed oil, pine resin, ground cork dust, sawdust, and mineral filters such as calcium carbonate, and most commonly on a burlap or canvas backing.
Okay.
I don't know anyone who wouldn't know what linoleum is by now in today's, but just in case. Eddie jumps in. He's like, "Do you realize you're gonna miss Nightmare on Elm Street 8, 9, and 10?" Which I know you already know this, but I had to look it up. Nightmare on Elm Street was only up to 5 by this point.
No, not even. They were up to 4. 4 came out in August of that year, and this episode came out in November of '88.
Okay.
So they just got past. So Dream Warriors, of course, being the best,
Yes,
was in
absolutely.
'87, and then Dream Master had just come out in '88, and
Well,
they only got up to
7 in 1994 until they lacklusterly crossed over with Jason in 2003 and then rebooted it with the character assassinated Voldemort in 2010.
You mean the child rapist one?
Yeah, the unneeded backstory that
Yeah.
that you didn't need to make an asshole worse. We already hated him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got a great laugh out of that. They're basically like, these horror movies are just going to keep rolling out.
Which I mean, at the time they were, because that's what the '80s slasher films did. They just kept making them and kept making them. And I mean, Jason, freaking, we got up to Jason 10 for real, like
Yeah.
before, not including Freddy vs. Jason and all that stuff. So yeah, Halloween had 100 billion of them, and they still kept going afterwards, anyways.
So Eddie continues, you're going to miss the next 3 father-son Mockingbird Heights pick throwing contests. And Herman is really starting to struggle now, thinking about all these life events he's going to be missing out on with his family. But he gets his resolve. A Munster's got to do what a Munster's got to do. That line has come back. We'll see if it continues. Lily asks if he thinks this will be dangerous. He says he will find out tomorrow with his tests. Lily demands that they be allowed to accompany them to see these tests.
Which they don't go at all.
Yeah, they do. They just don't see the test. They wait in the waiting room. But Grandpa found it. Only it's Venice. I was not expecting that joke to come back around, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really glad it did. That was good.
So then we go on into Herman's tests, my man. And his first test is the shape sorting cube, basically.
Well, he brings his family. This is the part you forgot. Lily's concerned about Herman actually leaving, and Grandpa's like, will you relax? We will talk to this Dr. Brown fella, and you will see. These men know what they're talking about. Oh, dear. Lily demands Herman not leave Dr. Brown's side. They are to eat together, work together, stay together, day and night. She wants the 2 of them stuck together like glue. And then Dr. Brown walks in.
Oh, yeah. I remember that part, yeah. And then Lily sees that as a woman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And Dr. Brown doesn't help things because she sees Herman as a test subject. So she's, oh, you're interested in my husband? She's like, very interested. But, oh, boy. Yeah, that does not help her case.
No. It doesn't. Sorry, my dog keeps going crazy on me again.
That's all right.
I'm going to start locking her up. If she doesn't stop. Dang dog. Should have never named her after a freaking Marvel character.
Which one?
Daisy from
Johnson.
Agent. Yeah. The other dog is 11. Can you figure out where that name came from?
Oh, 11 years ago, that'd be 2000s.
No, the other dog's name is 11, not 11.
Oh.
What the
Okay, yeah, no, I got that now. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so Lily meets Dr. Brown and yeah, now she's got a whole new concern.
Oh yeah, she does.
Yeah. Now is when Gordon walks in, and Eddie immediately asks for an autograph because why wouldn't you? You can he's like Gordon goes, you can try selling one of these for one of Pee Wee Herman's. Eddie just howls for the first time in a few episodes and then leaves.
That comment doesn't go over well anymore.
Grandpa introduces himself now, and it's always a pleasure to meet a fellow flyer. Gordon asks what kind of flying he does, and Grandpa gets sad and just says solo mostly. This took an emotional turn I wasn't expecting in the conversation. Nowhere did I expect to feel bad for Grandpa during all this.
Oh. Just never feel bad for Grandpa. There's no reason to ever feel bad for Grandpa.
He's lonely.
He's a psychopath.
Yeah, he is. Which is why that one Black Widow lady would have been perfect for him. So Gordon turns to Herman and is like, let's get started. And they leave Dr. Brown with the family, who just says, you're very interesting people, and then walks out of the room, leaving Lily worried. Grandpa is just like, calm down. What's the worst thing that could happen? You could travel to Venus and never return. I said, what's the worst?
Dude, the Munsters probably all could potentially be astronauts of passing these tests and stuff that we see Herman do.
Mhm.
They could have made the Munsters the Robinsons
Yeah.
in space. Season 2 of the Munsters Today
Well, why
in
not? That's what they
space.
did with the sequel for Gilligan's Island.
Oh, did they? I didn't watch that stuff.
Yeah, Gilligan in
Ooh.
space.
Yeah, I never watched that. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Oh, jeez. All right, let's get through this
So,
episode.
yeah, now we're at the test finally.
Yep.
Gordon fell asleep.
Herman's over there trying to put a square shape into this two-shaped box. It's a square or a circle. You can't
It's
figure
got
it out.
square on one side and a circle on the other. And he's really thinking about it. Well, first he's not even messing with the square. He's playing with the thing he's supposed to put it through, putting his arms through, tracing it, doing all
Yeah.
this weird stuff. Then he finally picks up the
Extra
cube.
shit. Yeah.
Eeny, meeny, miny. He begins to put it through the square, looks at Dr. Brown, sees that she's getting impatient, and he's like, no, I know better.
Yep. And
So
she ends up waking up the other guy.
yeah, Gordon.
Yeah, Gordon. And then
Well,
it's like, yeah, 18 minutes. It's a record. 18 minutes. And he's
did he-
still doing it.
Yeah.
And Herman does is he takes the square and turns it into a ball of
No.
something.
He slams it in and tries to get it through, but it doesn't go through. I don't know if this was meant to go through and they just decided not to do another take. But first of all, who the hell took 17 minutes to complete this?
Herman.
Herman set the new record. Who set the record before?
Herman Munster. He's named after cheese. Remember that.
Oh no, you are right. He does start mashing it into some kind of circle because we find out it's made of like clay or something, and then tries to jam it through the circle, but it doesn't go through. Because I think we're supposed to get like, he's so strong he molded the cube into circle, but they clearly didn't give him enough time with this scene to do it right.
And then we go on to the next test, which is a room where he's just reading a comic. And I'm just like, okay, is this the test? Like, I didn't get this until they said it, because I was just like looking at it, I was like, what's the test? Like him reading fast or what? And apparently there's a temperature gauge going on in the room.
I thought that was meant to be a clock talking about how long this is taking.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. And then they're asking him if he's okay and everything. Because the temperatures, is it getting hot in there, Herman? And then we look at the temperature gauge and see that it's at like 450 degrees in there.
Nearly 400. The water begins boiling and the newspaper bursts into flames, and he's just like, it's a day in the spa for Herman. Whatever.
His clothes should have caught on fire.
Yeah.
If the paper caught on fire, his clothes should have caught on fire.
And then we get to the third test.
What does Herman Munster look like naked?
How
does that feet look like without the shoe on it? I just want to see the feet, like how big it is.
No one wants to know how into feet you are.
I'm just curious because you always see it in the platform, dude. It's gotta look weird, man.
Yeah.
And what member did he get too?
Well, I mean, depending on how his circulation works, it's his feet might just be swollen from the blood pooling.
You think it's a lot of stitching like we saw in 1313?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. I didn't think about it till now, but that's the first time we ever see him without a shirt on.
Yeah. So far, we'll see. Anyways, moving on.
So the third test, it's an exercise bike.
Yes. And he's just going.
Where Dr. Brown compliments Herman's heart. He says, the original owner took good care of it. He didn't drink, smoke, or eat burritos, which I feel personally attacked here as a lover of Taco Bell. All right.
Don't worry, that's not a real burrito, anyways.
The quesarito is the most delicious burrito ever.
It's not a real burrito, so you're good.
Well, then they need to make better real burritos.
As someone who lives with Mexicans, I
I
can tell
know.
you those aren't real burritos. They taste good, but they're not real burritos. I don't even think it's real meat. You might be eating leftover dog.
Oh, I actually made a comment in my notes here. Well, I'm screwed.
Well, you don't smoke or drink, so you got those two
What's
going.
here's a weird anatomy fact. Did you know many of our hearts now are kind of crooked? Yeah, I didn't know this. My wife went for a checkup years ago, and like you're having an anomaly with your heart, and she's like, "What's wrong with it?" Oh, it's normal. That's rare these days. I'm like, well, that's scary to think about.
I didn't. I guess I never thought about our placement of our hearts.
Yeah, I'm like, well, okay, so yeah. Apparently now our hearts are kind of skewed a little bit. I fear to think what mine looks like. It's probably
We're gonna get off topic here for a second. Is it supposed to be because of like the way our bodies have evolved over time that like the fat cells and stuff push the heart over?
Yep. I think
Okay.
I believe that's what they said. Yeah. It's been so many years now. I can't remember exactly, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah.
Anyways, moving on.
Gordon asks him to go faster. Herman obliges, causing the stationary bike to take off through the wall.
And
So
it takes off hard.
Yeah, it does. So after they take him out of the wall, Gordon gives Herman a square helmet with a radio built in, allowing them all to communicate. Herman begins yelling to test it, and Gordon's like, please don't do that. Dr. Brown says there's only one final test, and then there is off to Venus. Herman
Dun, dun,
cheers
dun.
loudly, causing both of them to go, you asshole.
Yeah.
So he does it again silently this time. Yeah.
And then they're flying a plane now. Now they're up in the air in a plane. And damn, Grandpa, damn. You screwed it up for yourself. Yeah. So you want to break this one?
All right. So Herman and Gordon are together flying in a plane where Gordon's answering Herman's questions about what the buttons do as Herman pokes at him, and then he turns the plane off. Gordon quickly turns it back on again. He's like, look, I got some adjustments to make in the rear. I'm just going to leave this novice pilot here because that's smart, and books it. The guy just turned the plane off on accident. Yeah, this can't be regulation. Yeah. But
no.
He isn't alone for long as Grandpa flies up next to him as a bat. Doesn't have Grandpa's head, but he's talking to him in a normal voice. So
Grandpa's Herman's like, you're doing great. The secret to flying is don't look down.
Yeah. Herman's like, you're right. Flying's easy. Then Grandpa says that, and Herman immediately looks out the window, begins freaking out, and puts the plane in a nosedive.
Yeah. As he's yelling for him, Cooper to come out and help him. It's like, Mr. Cooper, Mr. Cooper, Mr. Cooper. He's freaking out. Then cut.
Imagine what Gordon's like. He's in the back.
We don't see any of that. I don't even know if Mr. Cooper's still alive. Because next we cut to the house and Herman's laying on the couch with an ice pack on. I'm like, did this dude just kill Gordon Cooper in a plane crash? And like just walk away?
Yeah, Lily comes in while he's icing his head.
No explanation or anything. He just crashes the plane. Herman is out there killing people. It's good for business. Mr. Gateman would be proud.
Yeah.
Or Mr. Goodbury in this one, right? Or is it Mr. Gray? No, it's Goodberry in this one. Mr. Goodberry is in control right now.
So yeah, Lily comes out. He's like, "Would you really have left me for 3 years?" So at this point, it's clear that he washed out.
Yeah.
Herman tells her he would have seen her on the weekends. It's not how it works, buddy. Lily was worried that he was going to fall in love with some woman on Venus, and she begins touching his bolts, which causes Herman to convulse and say he would never let anyone but her touch his bolts. And then this gets super uncomfortable as she keeps doing it. He says it just would have been a thrill to be an astronaut, which, you know, I mean, who couldn't understand that? That is a cool thing to have.
I don't understand how, like, the thing that always gets me with this one, especially with Lily, the way Lily talks about the possibility of Herman being with another person, it's always about them falling in love. You don't just randomly fall in love with random people, even if they look good to you.
Well,
you know,
if we're going by the Rob Zombie movie, you do.
Well, not necessarily, because
Lily just saw him and fell in love.
Yes, but that doesn't mean that happens with everybody you look at.
That's true, yes.
That's what I'm saying.
It happened to her, so she's worried it'll happen.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's because of looks or anything like that. Like, my wife digs Ryan Reynolds. She doesn't love. She's not like in love with him or anything like that. Hell, I dig Ryan Reynolds. I'm not in love with the dude. I just wish my body was more like his, because he's old as fuck and I can't even look like that.
Yeah.
I'm sad. I also watched Fight Club, and seeing Brad Pitt around the same age as me in that movie made me feel really shitty about my body.
My only hope is aim for Jack Black level of fitness.
Nacho Libre style.
Yeah, so yeah, I get she's,
but I just never got that. It's like she instantly thinks just because he's around another woman that he's gonna fall in love with her. Like, that's very
she should
insecure.
have more faith in their bond.
She's very insecure about it, for sure. So potentially this could be because maybe we, headcanon backstory on Lily. Maybe she had a potential partner back in the day that did that to her all the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe she's got abandonment issues.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Potentially.
It would explain a lot.
We need to start writing fan films.
See, at this point, Lily is just, she gently tells him, "Look, not passing that is nothing to be ashamed of. A lot of people have acrophobia." And he's like, "I don't have that. I'm just afraid of heights." Lily tells him he needs to get upstairs and into bed so he can read. Herman begins freaking out and says he's never leaving the ground floor again. Oh
yeah, because he looks over at the end of the couch. Yeah. He looks over.
I got confused by that line.
I was trying to be like, "What are you talking about?"
I thought this was a weird thing where she's going to try to get him up there. Lily says that's too bad. She'll have to return this Venus outfit to Fredericks of Transylvania. It's lingerie. Herman throws his ice pack and pulls her up those stairs. Later that day, Herman is brushing Lily's hair with a bonefish when the phone rings. It's another special government project. Yes, he's the man who did so well in the stress test. Wow, submarines. Lily looks at him with this annoyed face, and Herman's like, "Well, we'll take 2. 1 provolone, the lamest cheese, I will add, and 1 salami. Hold the onions." And then he hangs up and kisses his wife. End of show. No, Maryland.
Why didn't he ask for one with Munster cheese on it? Nothing.
Nobody likes that.
I love Munster cheese. Oh, dude. It actually has flavor. Provolone is nasty if you buy it from
flavorless.
Like, I go to the farmer marketplace to get some cheese now because the provolone there actually has flavor. Like I tasted that the other day and I was like, oh, I'm never buying this shit from Sam's again. Like,
I've pretty much made pepper jack my main cheese for pretty much everything.
yeah,
It's just
nope.
I like the kick it gives.
I don't like that. I leave your spices out my cheese, please.
Oh, pepper jack with a good Miracle Whip.
I've been doing more Swiss lately though.
It's not bad.
It has a good taste, but I also like Swiss, fresh Swiss, not like the store shit that's
Mhm.
been sitting on the shelves for years. That's like plastic. No offense. Uh, and and I love the holes. I don't know why. I just like the holes. The holes and makes me feel like I'm in the episode of Tom and Jerry. Like,
So I have one little bit of trivia to end
okay,
this. Um, so Gordon Cooper's Gemini 5 mission with Charles Conrad was an 8-day mission to test the human endurance in space, as well as docking procedures and new electrical systems to utilize fuel cells. But I thought that was interesting that one of his missions was about endurance, and then they're doing these kind of endurance tests on Herman.
yeah,
So I just wanted to make note of that.
that's pretty
But
cool.
overall, what was your opinion on this episode?
Um, I enjoyed it. Like I said, I felt like it was a script straight from the '60s episode, dude. Like it didn't feel like what we've gotten with the '80s stuff, minus like the sexual references in this one from the
Mhm.
'80s style, because we're way past the sexual revolution by now, and TV started doing a lot more of those things a lot more openly at the time. um so you definitely see that difference within the 20-year time gap for sure. uh but I like the episode. I thought it was cool. It was back to basics with it. Herman's getting called in to do something stupid. Lily's jelly, and Grandpa's like, I don't give a crap what happens. um yeah. Do you think that Grandpa purposely distracted Herman, or did that to Herman so Lily wouldn't miss her husband?
No, I think Herman is just an idiot.
Well, I think Grandpa knows that Herman's just an idiot, and that's why he would go and say, "Don't look down," knowing damn well that Herman would look down. Even we knew that Herman would look down if you said that. Like, you don't think that his father-in-law of like what 100 years or something like that, over a
I
100
mean,
years
it's
now,
possible. He's definitely that manipulative.
yeah, and he's definitely done crazier and dumber things for his daughter. And who knows? Maybe he got on the plane and fed on Cooper before the plane crashed.
Oh no, Gordon Cooper's now a ghoul.
Oh, um, I yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed this episode, of course, and the Pee Wee reference just makes me wish that we would have had a Pee Wee Munsters crossover once
Mhm.
back in the day. That would have been freaking awesome. Could you imagine Pee Wee Herman walking into the Munsters house?
He wouldn't be out of place.
He wouldn't. He wouldn't. He wouldn't be out of place at all.
Imagine the Munsters walking into Pee Wee Herman's house. That might freak him out.
Dude, that would be awesome to see them freaked out walking into a house.
So is the premise of Pee Wee Herman just he's on acid all the time?
Have
I broke Myke.
has there ever been an episode of the Pee Wee Herman like Playhouse thing where someone else went into Pee Wee's house and the furniture was still moving or and talking?
I can't answer that.
Because wouldn't it be awesome? Sorry, this is not Monsters related, but you walk into Pee Wee's house and it's literally just a dump. It's not colorful, like the couch is falling apart and everything. But
It would
everything that we see in the show is from the eyes of how Pee Wee sees it while he's on whatever or mentally disabled or anything like that.
It would
Holy
certainly explain
crap,
why they played it on Adult Swim for a while.
bro. Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
I still wonder where Marilyn is, her parents are, and why her parents didn't go looking for her for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Or any of the family members go looking for them for 20 years.
I really hope we're gonna get a few with more extended family, because now that we know that Grandpa has what was it? He's got twin sisters. There was some episode a while ago
I
we
don't
found out
know.
Grandpa had more family.
Okay.
So I love seeing the extended Munsters family. It's some of the most exciting episodes for me.
Yeah. But what are your overall thoughts for this episode, dude?
Oh yeah, I didn't give mine. This one didn't land as well as some of the others. It's like I didn't dislike it, but I would of the 8
Mhm.
we've seen, this one would probably be bottom of the list for me.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe it's because it has that original show feel, and I was kind of digging the new vibes I was getting.
Right.
But it could just be because this writer didn't have a chance to work on the show as much as some of the other ones we have. He just, he was more of a fan of the original, and that's why we got this feel.
All right. Yeah, I think I would definitely recommend this episode though for people who haven't watched the
Tried it.
Munsters Today. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Just
good point, though. This is a good transition one.
it definitely is because it's very reminiscent of the same style, but then you
Hmm.
also have our characters for this world that they're building, and it's a good way to take it in that way. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I think that would be pretty cool
Yeah.
way to dive on into it for people who haven't watched it yet. Episode
Well,
8.
let us know your thoughts. Send us an email, comment on our YouTube video, leave us a voice message to play on our next episode.
Definitely. What is our next episode going to be about, Tivis?
Next week, we will be watching Rock Fever, which,
Rock Fever.
God, I hope this is about rock bands and not just rocks.
No, you're gonna get guest Rocky Maivia, right? That would have been the right time, right, for the 80s. The Rock's dad.
Astrology, geology, whatever.
You're totally gonna get like some. It's gonna be a rock from Venus.
They heard what they were planning. They're retaliating.
uh, definitely. I guess this week I should start doing like a movie thing again.
Yeah, it's been a while. Do you have one this week, or?
I think this week, you know, let's just go with the Voyage to the Planet of Prehistoric Women, just because I want people to watch it. I want to watch it. So I want to be able to go and see it and talk to people online about it. It has nothing to do with the Munsters other than it possibly was mentioned in this episode.
I will say Creature of the Black Lagoon, because
Yes.
this is the first episode post his passing. So,
Mm.
what better recommendation?
All 3 of the creature movies. Definitely. Yeah. Other than that, do you have anything else to say this week, dude?
Uh, no.
No.
I'm still enjoying the ride. I got a little bit of flu medication going through me, so I'm a bit out of it. But
Gotcha.
no, I'm still just enjoying the ride, and I love hearing from people. I'm loving the interaction we've been getting with Nice Guy on YouTube.
Mhm.
You have helped personally educate me on a lot, so I hope you continue to do so.
Definitely, man. Definitely. We appreciate it. And we'd like to hear from everyone else out there too. If you have any information or you just want to talk Munsters, bro, like for real,
Always down to talk Munsters.
that's
That's
what
why
we're
we
here
created a
for.
Discord.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we got the Discord set up to
We
create the
kind of got sick of
community.
hearing each other's voices. We love to hear more, but
Yeah.
in a better environment where people aren't just going to be nasty to you because you like a recent movie for no reason.
Right. And definitely join the Discord, guys, because we would love to hear from you in general. And I even want to start doing more like fanfic stuff with the Munsters. So if you guys can
Oh yeah, if you've
write or
got your
anything like
fanfics,
that,
send them to us.
yeah, send them to us. Maybe we can like portray them, like do the different voice character. I guess we'd need at least 5 people, right? What? That Did that break you? What?
I was pretending to be frozen.
Yeah, you can't. I could see you moving.
I got too good of a camera now.
But no, I think that we could potentially get a bunch of people on here. We could do some like audio fanfics and stuff. That'd be pretty dope.
I just bumped my mic again. I'm sorry.
You're all good. And then guys, definitely don't forget to why can't I scroll down anymore? Go over to rondoaward.com and put in your vote for the Munsters film by Rob Zombie to win their the Rondo Hatton Classic Horror Awards, guys.
We'll
Definitely
keep
check it out.
reminding you it'll still be available through the next like 5 or so episodes we do. So we'll keep rigging it up.
Yeah, definitely. Go there, support the Munsters movie, support everything that you can Munsters related. And Tivis, any final words, my man?
Don't let Herman fly a plane alone.
Why not? You don't want to kill more
Saw why not.
astronauts?
Oh.
All right, with that said, guys, thank you very much, and we will catch you next time as we take another stroll down 1313 Mockingbird Lane.
I want you to learn is it doesn't matter what you look like. You can be tall or short, or fat or thin, or ugly, or handsome, like your father. Or you can be black or yellow or white. It doesn't matter. What does matter is the size of your heart.